My name is Dr. Anastasia Lindo Anderson, and I am the CEO of Emerge. And I'm delighted that you have chosen to spend this hour with us to talk about the power of partnerships. We have an exciting panel of students and superintendents, the head of Region 4 with us this afternoon. And we will really just talk about how this program is so impactful for our students. Let me kind of go through how we'll spend the time together. So first, we want to introduce Emerge. We have a number of people on the program team that work inside of Emerge, so we'll introduce them. Then we will introduce our panelists and have a rich conversation about what the partnership means for students and communities and school districts. Then we want to talk about how excited we are for this next chapter of Emerge and the growth that we will be embarking on across the city. And then finally, if you have any questions, we want to spend some time answering those questions. So throughout the conversation today, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. With this feature, ask any questions, as many questions as we can answer during our discussion period. We will spend time doing so. Thank you so much for being here. Please know that the conversation is being recorded, and so you can definitely follow up on the conversation after today. For the Emerge leadership team, we have a number of individuals. First, I want to introduce our VP of Programs, Janika Stevens. Actually, our VP of Development, how did I mix that up? I never mix that up, ladies, right? But our VP of Development, Janika Stevens, she's been part of the Emerge team for 4 years. And then Whitney Goucher is our Vice President of Program Strategies, has been part of the Emerge team for about 8 years. And you will hear from both ladies as the conversation continues. And then our panelists. On our panel today, we have Dr. LaTonya Goffney, Superintendent in Aldine ISD. And there's a student representing Aldine ISD as well, Jason Correas, who will share his experience with Emerge. And then the former superintendent of Spring ISD is here. He is now the Regional Executive Director for Region 4, and a student in Spring, well, formerly of Spring, Kendall Carey, will talk about their experience at USC in California. So we're excited for our panelists this afternoon, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the conversation. So let's talk about Emerge. Emerge exists to solve a challenge, right? Only 13% of students in Houston's low-income community will get a degree, and that's any degree, either a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. Many people don't know of high achieving students in this nation. Only 25% even apply to selective colleges and universities, and they belong there. They're talented students, they're intelligent students. So Emerge exists to support, if we could look at our mission, it exists to support high achieving students from underserving communities to attend and graduate from selective colleges and universities in this nation. As you learn more about Emerge, you will see that our impact is strong. 75% of Emerge students attend a selective college or university. 100% of Emerge students go to a 4-year college, but 75% attend a selective college and university. And our students are graduating. 80% of Emerge students receive a bachelor's degree between 4 and 6 years with minimal debt. So they're graduating on time with minimal debt. They are going to some of the best, most well-known universities in this nation. You can see some of them on the screen. We have students that stay right here in Texas. They attend Rice University. They may go to UT at Texas A&M, but we have students that go in other places across the nation, Syracuse University, Princeton University, Amherst, Harvard, etc. So 150 universities are represented in the Emerge program. And as I mentioned before, we are particularly proud of the students that we serve at Emerge. They graduated 8 times the national average for first-generation low-income students. So they are talented students, and they're being given the opportunity to pursue their dreams and ambitions at a university, and they are making it happen. Let's talk a little bit more about what happens after graduation. Many of our students go on to do amazing things. I can tell you some of them pursue a medical route and are working on their MD degrees. Some of them are getting PhDs, but they also work at some of the best companies, leading industry companies in this nation. Goldman Sachs, Accenture, right here in Houston at Oxy, at Deloitte, JP Morgan Chase, Facebook, and so forth. So we have students that when they graduate pursue careers that make a difference in their lives and their families' lives. I'm going to kick it over to Whitney. Whitney, again, is our VP of Program, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about our students and our program model.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Welcome, everyone. Anastasia talked about our students and the amazing outcomes that they're able to achieve. So I wanted to talk a little bit about who they are. What does their profile look like? So most of our students are in the top 10% of their class, are taking rigorous courses and have a 4.0 GPA. 97% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch. 90% are or will be the first in their family to go to college, which is a huge accomplishment. And our student population is diverse. So 65% identify as Latino, 20% identify as Black, 11% identify as Asian, and 4% identify as white. When we think about Emerge and when we think about what makes us unique, it really is our model and our focus on selective colleges. So on the high school side, we focus on what we call student profile elevation. So that's ensuring that our students, by the time they apply to college in their senior year of high school, that they are the most prepared and the most competitive applicant for selective colleges. We do that by first and foremost, partnering with school districts. So we have 5 Houston area district partners currently, and through partnerships with school districts, we're able to identify the talent across this city. We also provide best-in-class advising to ensure that our students and our families have the knowledge and the resources that they need to become competitive applicants. And we also expose students to the opportunities that they deserve. So we take students on college trips. We bring college admissions reps to our students to share information, to ensure they have access to the knowledge and resources to apply. Our model doesn't end in high school. We support students through college as well. So Dr. Anderson mentioned that we have students attending over 150 colleges across this nation. We build partnerships with those colleges to ensure that our students are persisting and graduating. For us, it's not enough for students to show up on day one. We want to ensure that they receive their degree. And so we partner with colleges to identify resources that can support our students along the way. We also have a college success team, so that provides targeted persistence support for our students, again, to ensure that students are persisting and that they have what they need to get to the finish line. And as Anastasia mentioned, we currently have over 600 alumni, and that will only continue to grow as we continue to expand across Houston. And so we are thinking about what does it mean to support students to identify careers and internships so that once they graduate from college, they can have opportunities to achieve whatever their dreams are. So we also provide career exposure and internship support. All of this could not be possible without our district partners. So I first and foremost want to say thank you to our district partners on the call, and just identify and honor our current district partners. So we are serving 3,100 students from Houston across 5 school districts: in Houston ISD, Spring Branch ISD, Spring ISD, Klein ISD, and Aldine ISD. And you get the lovely opportunity to hear from some of our partners this afternoon. So I'll pass it back to Anastasia.
Thank you, Whitney, and thank you for sharing more about the Emerge program. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to drop those questions in the Q&A. We want to make sure that we answer them at the end of our conversation. So I mentioned the panelists that are with us earlier when we started, but let me introduce them again. First, we have Dr. LaTonya M. Dr. Goffney, welcome. We are glad that you are here, and we're excited to hear the words that you will share about the Emerge Partnership. She is the superintendent of Aldine ISD. Next, we have Dr. Rodney Watson. Dr. Rodney Watson was formerly the superintendent of Spring ISD when we went into a partnership with Spring ISD, and now he currently is the executive director of Region 4, again, an area, I think the largest region in Texas, right? An area that has 48 school districts. Thank you, Dr. Watson, for being with us. We have Kendall. Kendall was a former Spring ISD student and is currently a junior at USC. And then we have Jason. Jason is a current Aldine student. So we have both perspectives, one that's currently in college and one that is in high school. Jason will tell us about how he learned about Emerge and what he's hoping he'll do after he graduates. So Dr. Goffney, if it's okay, I'd love to start with you. I want to ask, why did you join in partnership with Emerge, right? How has the program impacted the school district, and specifically, how has the program impacted the school district's post-secondary goals?
Oh, I am super excited to be here this afternoon, and thank you, Anastasia, for having me. My story is probably going to be different than most. I'll never forget, it was probably April of 2019. I was scrolling through Twitter, and the former executive director, Trisha, she had tweeted something about Emerge, and she shared what the other school districts were doing. I don't know if it was Spring, Klein, or Houston, and she was saying the opportunities that these students were going to have and how exciting that was. And I immediately sent a text to my chief of communications. I was like, we need Emerge. And I kept looking throughout the day and so on and so forth. My chief of communications, he had a relationship with Trisha, and she said they've already taken their next district, so we're too late. I said, we need a meeting. And so, like, literally, I have the text, and she goes, okay, I can make that happen. And so May 14th, we had a meeting, May 14th of 2019, and several of your people were at that meeting, and they brought me our capacity. They shared their successes, and they weren't trying to sell me anything because I was already sold. I saw what was happening to other students in other districts, and I wanted that same opportunity for our kids. Because, you know, I've been saying it, we want our students to graduate with more than a high school diploma. We want them to graduate with choices and opportunities. And I knew we have amazing students, and you're going to hear from Jason. He's one of our super ambassadors, and he's just phenomenal. And those are the kind of students that we have all across our district in Aldine. And we wanted them to have the Emerge experience. But at that time, though, Emerge wasn't trying to sell us anything, but I felt like I was trying to sell Aldine to Emerge because, again, they'd already taken their final district. And at that time, I think they had a different process, and I had missed that process. But I'm so grateful and so thankful that the leaders at that time went back to the table, came back, and we were able to launch our partnership in 2019. And what I can tell you is it's truly been transformational. Even in 2019, knowing that COVID hit in 2020, it didn't stop our progress. It's been exciting. Our inaugural fellows graduated in May of 2021, and now they're attending some of the most selective schools in the nation. You know, while I love any choice or opportunity, whether it's the military or whether it's a junior college, I want our students to go to a college of their choosing, their capacity, their potential, or whatever is best for their families. But I don't want them to be limited by zip code, or limited by knowledge, or limited by experience, or limited by anything. I want to remove the barriers, remove the limitations. And I think that Emerge has truly done that, because I think some of these options our students would never considered without the Emerge partnership. And so I'm so thrilled that our college trip starting in this past summer. I've heard the stories from our students. It is just super exciting. The trips to colleges across the country. And again, there's so many reasons that I'm just excited, because I hear stories from our students, and I know from being a first-gen college student and being raised by my grandmother, who wouldn't let me go near the water. So she surely wasn't going to let me go across the state to go to school without knowing and trusting. And so the trusting relationships that our Emerge staff and others build with our students and their families is beyond reproach. I mean, like, it's phenomenal. And so I am so excited, so excited. I'm super excited about what it means for our students, what it means for our district. And I'm sure you're going to hear that from our student that's here today, but just excited and just thrilled again that Aldine became a partner school district.
Wonderful, Dr. Goffney. Thank you for sharing that. I have to tell you, the affection is mutual. Emerge is excited also to be partnering with Aldine. A couple of things you said, so powerful. One, no limitations on students. Just because financial circumstances may be challenging, that does not mute the talent, the aspirations, the goals that these students have. And then choices and opportunity. That's what we want for all of our students. So let me kick that over then to you, Dr. Watson. When you were in Spring ISD, why did you want the Emerge partnership? And then go on to tell us, for the superintendents that might be listening, or the districts that might be listening, why should they consider Emerge?
Well, once again, thank you all for having me today. I'm extremely excited to be here. You know, so often you get asked to speak on a panel, and there's things that you know and you like, but there's something different to speak about truth and things that you know and people that you know. And so I definitely appreciate Dr. Goffney's passion in that, because I echo those same sentiments. My journey with Emerge is a little different because I got to know all of the Emerge leaders when Emerge first started back in Houston ISD. And during that time, Rick Cruz was actually a teacher in the district, and Anastasia, you and I and Trish, we all worked together. And so we were having these conversations and really listening to the passions of what could be. And it's just so nice to see that the what could be is actually happening. And we have 2 students online that are beneficiaries of what could be. We're extremely excited when I was in Spring ISD to be a partner, because we saw firsthand the benefits of what Emerge could do with students. And one of the things that we really thought about when I was in Spring ISD, the current superintendent now in Spring ISD, Dr. Hannah Hosa, and I had several conversations about the vision. And at that time, the vision was really about opportunities and choice. It was by giving parents and students the opportunity and the choice to make a decision of what's best for them. And so when we talk with the Emerge staff about our vision and what was happening, it was a direct connection, because the work that you all do in terms of building that selective college mindset is 100% about making sure that students and their families have the choice and have the opportunities based upon what's best for them. Yeah. In addition to that, it was extremely important to us that we had partners. So often we get vendors that come in that want to sell us something and want to let us know from the bottom line how much it's going to cost. But we were very excited and happy with Emerge, because you all came in as a partnership with the counseling staff in Spring ISD at the time. And paramount to that was not that you were coming to take our students and to show what you could do and that we couldn't do, but to partner around what are the best practices that are being offered internally in the district, and what are some things that you all could come in and accentuate for those areas that we could not meet the needs in, or we had not the right staff or enough staff to be able to do that. And so I remember several instances where you all partnered and came in and shared best practices that you all were finding with Emerge with our counseling staff, so they could duplicate that. It was about replication of services, not just with the students that are in Emerge, but the rest of the students that were in the district. And so working with our spring counseling team and the current superintendent in Spring ISD, that partnership really became a family. And how can I not say anything about Kendall? I remember Kendall coming in and talking about her experiences and talking about what she was getting and what she wasn't getting, and to hear her be able to clearly articulate what she needed, what she was getting, but more importantly, where she was going, and the smile on her face. And I'm sure the smile on her parents' face when she got a scholarship was phenomenal. And so if there's any superintendents on the line, I strongly urge you to have a conversation. The conversation does pull out a segment of students really beginning to look at what are the possibilities for those students, but it doesn't just stop with those identified students. It really is a partnership that can go across the district for all students to help you reach your college and career goals.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. That partnership element is so important. We don't have a program that's just a one size fits all, right? The culture of the district, the needs of the community in the district, of course, the vision of the superintendent and the college and career plans that exist in the district shape everything about the work that we do in district. So that partnership piece is vital. Also love your thoughts around possibility and people. Emerge is a people business. We spend time with students. We love students, just like you all. We're not in the classroom, but we're on the other side of the classroom, using your very classrooms to work with students one-on-one individually and support them with essay writing, etc. We are a people business, and we take talent very seriously. And then naturally, I love that question: what could be? The possibilities, us dreaming together for the future of the children we serve matters. So thank you for highlighting those elements for us. Jason, I'm coming to you. So I heard that you'd seen a recruitment flyer and thought, this is just too good to be true. Tell us about your Emerge experience.
My Emerge recruiting experience is a little unique because it was during COVID. It was second semester of my sophomore year. I was completely virtual, completely remote learning. So I was a little disconnected from my school, everything that was going on. There were no morning announcements to tell you to go apply today. So you just had to read your emails. So I did read my emails, and it felt like a scam getting into an Ivy League and going with a full ride. That didn't seem possible to 15-year-old me. But the day that the application was due, my counselor, who I love so much, she called me. She's like, Jason, what happened? You applied. She was very adamant that I apply. She told me this program is perfect for you. And she knew that I dreamed of going to Stanford. And she knew that our school did not have the support system to get me there. And she knew that Emerge did. So she encouraged me to apply. And I was luckily accepted. And I have been very grateful to her and to Emerge.
Awesome. And Jason, you can assure everybody on this call, it is not a scam, right?
It is not a scam. The knowledge that Emerge provides you with open the doors to choices and opportunities that every Emerge student has.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're so excited that you're part of Emerge, and we're going to come back a little later to hear about your plans. Kendall, I want to talk with you. So you're currently a junior now. Can you tell us where you go to school? What was your Emerge experience when you were planning for college?
So yeah, I'm currently a junior at USC, and I, similar to Jason, was recruited in the middle of my sophomore year. And I also thought it was a scam. I remember my pitch was in person. They pulled a lot of us out of like AP Chem, and we went down there, and I was like, okay, I've heard this speech before. Like, we'll, see what happened. And I always like recount like the moment. I think I didn't really conceptualize what was happening until I did my our retreat, sophomore retreat. And that in and of itself was like a life-changing bonding experience. I know people that I went to my sophomore retreat with that I'm like best friends with now, and that the close people to me. And so I always tell people like the trajectory of my life completely changed the moment that Emerge stepped to it, and just what I know now and the opportunities that I have access to, or even like the things that I know I will accomplish in the future. I know that Emerge was the stepping stone that really changed the path that I was on in life. And so my little brother's actually, he's a senior now in the program. And so I always, similar to what Dr. Watson said, like I didn't, because he didn't get accepted on his initial application. And so I always told him like, oh, it's okay, because the knowledge that Emerge instilled in me will forever live through me. And I'm always sure that I share that with like my friends, families, little cousins, even like my people that I graduated high school with. I would like help them edit their papers, help do stuff like that. Cause I would say it's not about like the 25 people that were in my cohort for my Emerge class. It's about like, okay, how many other hundreds of students can I help? So I would spend my senior year in the College and Career Center helping my college and career counselor, Dr. Lauderdale, just like help students all day. We would do help with FAFSA, help with CSS profiles. And so that to me is the biggest impact that Emerge has. It's like not just like how is it directly affecting like us in the cohort, but what it's doing to the community and the peers around us. And even now, like it's absolutely changing the way that I experience life now.
Oh, wow. Kendall, I have to tell you, that is so inspiring. One, to hear the impact that it has had on your life, to hear that your brother is part of it, so that Emerge works not only with the student, as you mentioned, but with the family, right? That feels just awesome to hear. And then to listen to how you're paying it forward, that the knowledge that you're gaining, you can teach others around you. I heard you mention your cousins and other people. That is awesome. So thank you for sharing that Emerge experience. And I'll come back to you a little later. Dr. Goffney, when I think about all the competing commitments right now that school districts are facing, recovery of learning loss, we've seen the NAEP scores that recently came out, et cetera, right? Why Emerge? Why would you say this is a good investment at this point in time?
Similar to Dr. Watson, we decided, again, it aligned perfectly with our strategic priorities. We launched our strategic plan in 2019 at the same time that we were discovering this partnership. I said earlier that we wanted our students to graduate with more than a high school diploma, but with choices and opportunities. We launched our new way forward. We wanted to offer our students basically not only choices and opportunities now, but also into the future. And Emerge has done just that. It's helped us expand our options to college and career access. When I think about the fact that Jason just shared, the fact that he has always wanted to go to Stanford his entire life. It's been a dream.
Yeah.
And literally, I wanted to interject. that makes it worth it. If it's just for him, and I know it's impacting others, we have 180 total in our program now, but just for him to be able to realize his dream,
Yes.
it's totally worth it. And thankfully, it's not just about Jason's dream, but 97% of our emerged students have been accepted to highly selected colleges. And that is real results for our district. I don't share this as, I don't make excuses for our zip code, but when you consider that 9 out of 10 of our students are on free and reduced lunch, like I was when I was in school,
Right.
and knowing how it feels to have limited options and opportunities and limitations just based on, you know, just the school that you attend, I wanted to break that barrier and have the opportunity for our kids to go anywhere and they can do anything. And as I hear Jason, I hear the others talk about their experiences and knowing that they can do it, they may decide not to, but it won't be because they didn't have the skills or the knowledge to do it. My grandmother used to say our people perish because of a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And the fact that Emerge has brought that knowledge into our school system, our counselors are working hard.
Yeah.
We have college advisors, they work hard, but you don't know what you don't know. And Emerge has been around for so long and has done it for so many. And so to have that advantage brought to our kids is just powerful. And I think it changes trajectories, it changes everything. I'm looking at Kendall, I'm getting excited for Jason and to see him his senior year. And this is, I mean, this is what it's about. So no regrets. Like literally, there's nothing more important than our kids graduating with choices and opportunities.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just feel goosebumps when I think about the fact that you focus in on results, right? You want to hear the kids' aspirations, their dreams, their desires, and give them anything that allows them to pursue that. That is wonderful. Congratulations. One of your first Emerge students has accepted early decision to the University of Chicago. So they're going to start rolling in. And I think there's just going to be celebration after celebration after celebration as we see students like Jason start making their dreams come true.
And may I also say that I think we don't talk a lot about it, but the fact that Emerge helps our students get not only to the college, but also through the understanding their support while they're there. And for many of our students, that's very, very, very important. That would have been important to me as a first-gen student raised by my grandparents who weren't educators or weren't educated and not unable to provide that support. And then there's like a cohort. They form this support system that helps because if you get there and then you don't stay and don't matriculate, then that's also a worry or concern for many parents, but you're able to alleviate that with the systems that you build.
Yeah, I liked it earlier when Kendall mentioned that some of the Emerge students that she met through this process and program are some of her best friends today, right? That support network, especially when you're first generation, especially when you come from an under-resourced community, it matters, right? College is tough, and the Emerge program certainly works to keep students together and pushing through. So Dr. Watson, you're in a different position now. Again, the Executive Director of Region 4, 48 districts underneath you. Talk with us now that you can influence superintendents more broadly. Talk with us about what position Emerge has in helping to close the opportunity gap in schools across Houston.
I think Emerge definitely has played a major role in that and still has opportunities for districts, partnering districts and new districts coming in that helping districts really sit down and look at their data. So often there is a population of students that are missed. These are students that have high potential, but lack the resources necessary to get that. And sometimes there's one-off stories of individuals that have met someone or come in contact with someone who helps them do that. Well, this is a more systematic approach to doing that, helping you sit down, the superintendent and the cabinet and your college and career readiness counselors, to really sit down at the table and look at the data to determine who are those students, what are we doing with those students, and how can we better support those students. And so that streamlined approach was extremely beneficial for us. And I think that's why this program transcends urban areas. It really is a suburban, urban, and rural opportunity for students. It's not just about areas that one would perceive or believe have less than. It's about making sure that you're meeting the needs of all students. We talk about all students all the time. this opportunity, what you all are doing, is really helping to meet the need of everyone at the table. And so I would urge, once again, superintendents and teams to really sit down and consider it. Not only is it about identifying students, but it's also because of the deep network Emerge has with partners, with large philanthropic organizations across the city and national. Yeah. It really helps them come into partnership with your districts as well. There was nothing better than sitting down and looking at the bottom line after we found the area that we needed some support and saying, okay, this is how much it's going to cost, but then saying we have something better. We have found an organization within the Houston area who's willing to partner with you all. They're willing to invest in your district, in your kids, in your community to help you realize that vision. And there's nothing better than, we always talk about education, we need support, we need the community to rally around and to help us. Emerge does just that. It doesn't just come with a solution, but it comes with resources to help you navigate to ensure that the kids get what they need. And that I was forever grateful for.
Awesome. Awesome. I heard you say all means all. Often, especially in this day and age, we put together programs for students that might be struggling readers, struggling in math, but there are students like Jason and Kendall who are doing amazing things. And if we can give them a little bit of attention and time, how much more can they do also in their community? So thank you for pointing out the fact that we do work across all students in the district. Wonderful. Okay, so Jason, I'm back to you. We heard about how you thought Emerge might have been too good to be true. We also heard that you had a dream to go to Stanford, right? So I want to hear a little bit more about your dream. Where did you apply? Did you apply early decision? What universities are you thinking about? And what does the future look like for you?
Right. So with Emerge, my dream did change a little. I am no longer applying to Stanford, but instead I applied restrictive early action to Yale. I was lucky with the help of Emerge to be able to submit my application early about a week ago. The application was due November 1st. I submitted it about a week early, and I'll be hearing back in December, hopefully with good news. I dream of becoming a civil rights attorney, of starting my own law firm here in the Aldine area to serve my community. And I hope to learn as much about the institutional inequities in communities like Aldine at Yale through their first year seminars. And Emerge not only helped me prepare a competitive application, but helped me find the school that was a perfect fit for me. I wanted to go to Stanford because of the sunny trees, because of the bikes, but now I have a real connection with Yale that additionally helps me get in, because Yale doesn't want the intelligent student. They want a student that is best fit for their school.
Yes. Oh, Jason, my goodness. Okay, so Stanford, Yale, the rest of us could only hope that we could even dream about those two schools. So kudos to you. We cannot wait to celebrate with you when you get accepted to Yale, because we can hear it. You are going places, and love that dream that you have about coming back home and being a leader in the community. And that's what Emerge is about, right? It's taking that talent that exists, right? Some of the challenges that we see in our community, and I grew up in an economically depressed community too, and thank God for scholarships for college, because, it would have been hard to really dream that way. But the challenges that we see in our community can be solved by the talent that exists in the community. And you're a perfect example of that. So we want to support you all the way through. We want to see you graduate, and then we want to see you come home and do what you plan to do. So that's wonderful. Kendall, so you talked a little bit about the ripple effect. Will you just go into that a little bit more? Emerge was more than just your experience. It's been an experience for people around you.
Yeah, the best example that I probably can give is from my classmates that were in a year above me, so class of 2021, was post-graduating class. They graduated like we did, kind of in the middle of the pandemic, which is a difficult time in just life. So I remember me and some of my closest friends, we would go to, because I spent my freshman year here, in Houston, doing school. So we would go to like the Heights in Houston, and we would go to like our favorite coffee shops. We would just sit and we would like write essays, and like they weren't in Emerge, but I have friends who got accepted to Babson and Washington and St. Louis, and just these schools, and NYU, just these schools that were never on their radar. And I have a friend who got accepted to Northeastern and now attends USC. And because of like what Emerge instilled in me, I was able to share that. And I think even now, through like me transitioning like out of college, it's that same principle of how you can instill knowledge into other people is really helpful. So I have friends now who are getting jobs and they're trying to figure out, like, Kendall, I have no idea. I'm in college now. What do I do for the rest of my life? And so I am forever grateful for the experiences that Emerge gave me, because now I have a true understanding of like, what is it am I looking for like in a community? I know like that's probably all of my Emerge peers can attest to, like, we have cried in Emerge sessions, we have like bonded for the rest of our lives together. So it's kind of like when you go into the real world, you're like, oh, everyone's not as cool as all my Emerge people now. So it's kind of like a reality check that you have to deal with transitioning to college and post-college. But those ideas and those qualities and characteristics now are forever with me, and I bring them to whoever I spend a lot of time with or whatever situation that I'm going into now.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm hearing, you mentioned the word job. I'm hearing as a junior, you already have a job offer. Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, so last summer I interned, well, I guess this summer that was just passed, I interned at EY. And so I have a offer to intern this summer, and then I have an offer post-grad to return to whatever office of my choosing. I'm still deciding that now. It's really stressful to pick where you are going to live. And also I am also work at the Apple store. And so they have also offered me a position. And so I have to decide on where I want to spend my life post-grad. So it's good stress to have, good choices to pick from.
Oh, I love that. Good stress to have. Job offers coming out of the woodwork. That's amazing, Kendall. And EY is Ernst & Young, right? Just want to make sure for our audience that's listening, they understand just how wonderful that offer is. So as we get ready to close this panel conversation, LaTonya, I'd love and you and Dr. Watson to share some final few words. Where do you see the partnership in 5 years? What if you could hope and money was no limit? What would you see the partnership become?
You know, when I think about how we rolled it out, and I think we did it with the best intentions to make sure we got it right. We started with 4 of our high schools and 6, and then of course it was so important that we got to all 9 of our high schools. And, you know, now we have 180 of our students in our that are enrolled. And when I think about the fact that of those students who 60 we have in college, and just the numbers, you know, because data is what kind of sells. And, you know, I always tell everyone that you won't get 100% of the jobs you don't apply for. Well, you won't get in any of the schools that you don't apply for. You know, so, and the fact that we're so close, 97% of our Emerge students apply to highly selected colleges. And then I want to expand it though, you know, I want to reach the capacity of where we are. I think we're at 60 per school or something. And I just want to see what our capacity is, because equity may not be every school the same. It may be some more students who have the capacity. And so, because I think it's really important that if students want to go this route, that they have the opportunity to go this route. It's life-changing. It's life-changing for families. I know just being a first-gen student for me and the first in my family, and now I have cousins and others who have been benefactors of me going through and completing, and I've been able to reach back and help and pull. And so we know that Emerge is a good investment. And so we got to continue to think about how we can be strategic about how we expand, how we provide this opportunity for more. And also, I think Dr. Watson did an excellent job, so I didn't expound on it, but how we build the capacity of the staff that we have. Of all of our partnerships, Emerge has been the best as far as working with our counseling staff and others, because I've heard time and time again, a counselor say, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't know that, or I didn't know that. Well, that's helpful for students who are not even in Emerge. And as Kendall so eloquently said, it's helpful when she's sharing our students who are in Emerge, they share best practices, or they share something that they've learned. So we want this learning to just, you know, I say iron sharpens iron. I don't know, just take, I don't know. I just wanted to just catch flight across our district. The fact that it can happen, that it's possible.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that. And from my end as CEO, we want the partnership to continue to expand within the district. There's just so much talent. We don't want any brilliance going to waste, right? And whatever the capacity is, whoever wants to go, we want to be there to serve. And as you mentioned, we do want to be able to teach those on the ground that interact with students daily. Sometimes it's not necessarily even a selective college, but if there's a student that wants to go, we want to show them how to get there, right? So thank you for that. And we look forward to the continued dialogue to figure out how we can expand to serve more. Dr. Watson, you get the final word on the panel. What is your hope, right? Dream with us out loud. What is your hope as Emerge talks about expanding to other districts in the Region 4 area?
I'm definitely excited about the opportunity to expand for you all because that means more students and more communities and needs will be benefactors of that. When you hear Jason talking about coming back to his community, there's countless stories that we've heard from various Emerge students and graduates now talking about going back to their communities and reinvesting in. Kendall talked about it as well, as Dr. Goffney indicated. We know that the students in Spring ISD that were in Emerge were talking to their friends about what they were learning. They were sharing information, for lack of better words. They were giving the secrets away. They were talking about the secrets that certain groups of individuals already know that some individuals don't know. Right. And they were sharing that across to make sure they were paying it back. And that's powerful. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that continues. I want the excellence to continue as well, because you all have something good. You have a great niche there. In the new role that I have, Dr. Goffney and I laugh all the time as neighboring superintendents. We would share a lot of information with each other. We would be competitive with each other. And in the position that I'm in now, I really want all the districts in Region 4 to understand and benefit from this type of work, this type of support for their students. There is a cost, but the reward is so worth the cost. And when you listen to the students and you listen to their families and you hear them talk about what they have, as I said earlier, when I was talking about what could be, and that could be is turned to a realization of it happening, that's phenomenal. It's important. And so my goal and wish for Emerge is that you continue expanding, keep the excellence, and impact more communities.
Thank you. Thank you. Just thank you to the panel for sharing what the partnership has meant, Dr. Goffney and Dr. Watson. We are committed to excellence, right? We are committed to students. We're committed to their future and to their dreams, and anything that we can do, this is what we exist to do. So we are grateful for the partnership that you allowed us, trusted us, right, with the opportunity to come into your districts and work with students. And Jason and Kendall, we are grateful for the fact that you're using your talents, that you're using your intellect, and that you're going to do amazing things. But we're also grateful for the way that you inspire us. We know being a student, especially in this post-pandemic time, is not easy. So we love your focus and your commitment to your growth and the fact that you will share it with more students. So again, thank you, panelists, for being with us today. We're going to put our slide show back up and spend a little bit of time talking about what's next. If you've listened closely to our panelists today, this much is true. We know that genius is here. Brilliance is across this city, and we want to make sure that every child that has the aspiration and goal to go to a selected university gets that opportunity to do it. So the work that we're doing currently, we want to do it for more. I'm going to bring back our VP of Development, Janika Stevens, and she's going to talk with us about this next chapter of growth.
Thank you, Anastasia. And thank you to our panelists and students for sharing your perspectives and stories. I was so inspired just hearing you. It just warmed my heart. So thank you for sharing your stories about the impact of the Emerge program. We know that this work would not be possible without the strategic partnerships with districts and the strong backing of Houston's philanthropic community. So just would like to take another moment to thank Dr. Goffney, Dr. Watson for believing in the power of Emerge and this important work, and Kendall and Jason for trusting us to support you on your journey to college, and our dedicated supporters on the call today who make this possible through your generous support. Just many thanks to all of you. Okay, so as you heard from Anastasia, we want to expand. We want to serve and support more students like Kendall and Jason. And to do just that, we must embark on an ambitious five-year growth and operations campaign to support our expansion plans. And through this plan, we will focus on three core priorities: scale, replication, and financial sustainability. So let's take a look at scale. We will start by aiming to serve and support more students by expanding to 6 new school districts by 2027, allowing us to serve nearly 5,000 students in a total of 11 districts by 2027. We will also strengthen our college and alumni success initiatives to help activate a dynamic and powerful alumni network of over 2,000 alumni who will be positioned to solve some of the world's most pressing challenges. You heard from Kendall and Jason today. You see the brilliance yourself. We will also work to codify our program model so that it could easily be replicated and allow us to seamlessly launch into new districts now and into the future. This will also include standardizing our scope and documenting our strategies and frameworks, creating a playbook that will help to ensure the quality of our programs and make sure that it remains top-notch amid our expansion efforts. We will also upgrade our technology and data systems to support a growing team to enhance our ability to effectively track student and alumni outcomes. And we'll continually work to improve our model by focusing on recruiting and retaining top talent, DEI and COVID lessons learned, and really focus in on our alumni data trends and feedback we've heard from families and students along the way. Lastly, we will continue to diversify our revenue model just to ensure that we can continue to grow strategically while also strengthening our financial footing for the long run. This will include pursuing additional earned revenue streams to support the program. As I mentioned earlier, it will also include launching a 5-year multi-million-dollar growth and operations campaign, the first in our history, to support our expansion plans. And lastly, we'll invest in a corporate engagement strategy and partnership model to increase financial support from local and national corporations. So as you can see, there's a lot on the horizon for this next chapter for Emerge, but we are now more than ever poised, ready, and positioned to grow and serve more students throughout the greater Houston area. And we look forward to partnering with more districts and supporters across our city to continue driving this work forward. And with that, I will turn it back to Anastasia to facilitate our Q&A session.
Thank you. So we have a couple of questions that people want to know. First of all, what is the partnership size, right? As you've heard Dr. Watson describe earlier and Dr. Goffney, the partnership size really depends on the district, the capacity of the district in terms of the number of students that exist that are interested in taking advantage of the Emerge program. We can start with as many as 60 students a year coming into the program, and in HISD we have as many as 350 students a year that we serve. So the program size varies. Again, the partnership is really specific to the district culture, and the community demand for the program. Another question that we had, someone noted that Jason earlier said restricted early decision, and he mentioned wanting to go to Stanford. Do the students have to come in knowing what university that they want to go to, and do they have to come in knowing, that they want to apply early decision? I'm actually going to ask Whitney Goucher, she's our VP of programs, to come off and just talk about how students make that choice for the university that they will apply to.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And so Jason did mention he had a dream to go to Stanford, but then he talked about identifying his college fit. So we work with students throughout the process to identify a school that's going to be a best fit for them. We know we focus on selective colleges, so it's not enough for us to just say, just choose any one of these colleges, but we really want to support students in choosing a college that is their best financial fit, their best academic fit, and also their best social fit. Because we know if students identify a school that is their best fit, they'll be excited about it. They're more likely to persist. So our team works by delivering our curriculum and also having one-on-one advising sessions, and also taking students on college trips. I know Jason was on the California college trip this summer and got to see a lot of different schools. He was able to identify what type of institution he wanted to go to. And so those pieces of our program model, through the advising, through our curriculum, and through exposure, we really are able to support students in identifying their best fit. But a lot of students come in not even knowing any of the schools on our list. So that's exciting for us as we get to learn and grow with students and families along the way.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Whitney. And stay with me. I want to, another question has come in. I want to ask you, but I know one of the questions we get often is why selective? Why are we focusing on, there's universities all over this nation. Why are we focusing on this narrow group of universities?
That's a great question. So we focus on selective colleges for two main reasons. One, because students deserve opportunities. And across selective colleges, oftentimes students of color, students who are first in their family to go to college, students who are coming from lower resource or underserved communities are underrepresented at these institutions. Even though they have the grades, they have the test scores, they have the brilliance like Jason and Kendall to thrive at these institutions, they're underrepresented. So we're focusing on closing that gap. So that's the first part. The second thing is thinking about the student experience. We recognize and know that these institutions have the institutional support and the financial aid policies to ensure that students not only get accepted, but that they are persisting and graduating. So many of the schools that we recommend that are selective colleges meet 100% of a family's demonstrated financial need. So that's really important to our students and our families when they see a school like Yale that maybe costs $75,000 a year. If Yale is meeting 100% of a family's need and the family can only contribute $3,000, Yale is going to cover that $72,000 through grants, scholarships, and some loans. And so we know that the ability to afford college impacts persistence, especially for our students. And also these institutions have generous endowments that means that they're investing in their students to persist towards graduation. So that is why we focus on selective colleges. It's to close that gap in matriculation for students who deserve the opportunity, but also to ensure that the students have the support and the backing that they need to graduate from college.
Thank you. Thank you. There is a method to the madness, and I thank you for uncovering some of that for us. I'm going to ask you to share just a couple stats about the class of 2021, 2022 in just a moment. But I also want to share just a little known fact. Did we know that in this nation, 50% of those that are elected to our highest offices or who are the leaders of our Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies have gone to the same 12 universities? Why is that important? Because we want emerged students there. That's how this nation becomes diverse. That's how we have different voices at the table to make sure that all individuals are represented and benefit from systems that exist across the nation. So we really are looking to students like Kendall and to Jason to graduate, but then to come back and serve, to invest in their communities, to give us their intellect and their talent. They are our future leaders, and we're purposeful about making sure that we position them to be future leaders in the nation. This is the last question. I know you're itching to tell us a little bit about the stats of 2021. We do have some good news to report.
Yes, absolutely. So the class of 2021, I believe there were about 470 students across all of our 5 districts. 97% of those students applied to at least one selective college. 90% of them were accepted into a selective college. 94% of those students are going to a 4-year college, and 74% are going to a selective college. So I think, again, you heard from Jason and you heard from Kendall. Once we partner with districts, our work is really identifying the talent that already exists and connecting them to the opportunities that they deserve.
Thank you. And those are just impressive numbers because we've just gone through a pandemic. I mean, we're not even fully out of it. And so, you know, like every other organization in the city, we pivoted, but where the talent exists, we're able to support and serve. So thank you for sharing that data with us. So let's talk about what's next. If you are on this webinar with us today, we want to just talk about next steps. How can you get involved with Emerge? How can you bring Emerge to your district? So Emerge is expanding, as we shared, and we have a lot of plans around that expansion, but most immediately this fall, next August, we want to start in 2 new districts, right? We've just launched our RFI that came out on Monday, Halloween Day, and we're going to start engaging with these prospective districts this winter as we look at tailoring and talking about what the goals and ambitions of the district are and how it fits into their strategic plan. We will finalize those districts in the late spring, and we start recruiting students throughout the summer for the partnership to begin this fall. So if you are a district with us today, there are a couple of next steps. One, we encourage you to go to our website and just learn more about eMERGE. Reach out to us. There is an email address on our website, and you can certainly ask questions of us, and we can talk about what that looks like. We're even more than willing and excited at even to come out and describe what this partnership could mean for your specific district. There's also this QR code. We want you to go on ahead and scan that QR code. It will take you right to our interest form, our RFI materials, and it will share. It looks just like the page on the screen. It will share how you can get started with an eMERGE partnership. If you are on this this webinar today and you are just interested in understanding more about how you can support eMERGE, we need your support. Our students, Jason and Kendall, there's a million of them out there, and we need your support to work with more and more students. So that QR code is for you. You can definitely donate, but of course we want your time, your talent, as well as your treasure. So please find a way to connect with eMERGE and get involved. Janika, you've heard from our VP of Development. Her email address specifically is down there, and I invite you to reach out to Janika directly to talk about how you can participate. Well, Janika, since I called your name, let me ask you to close us out of our seminar today.
Great, thank you. Just again, want to thank you, Dr. Goffney, Dr. Watson, everybody who attended today, Kendall, Jason. This was so inspiring for me. I know I work at eMERGE, but just to hear the stories and the impact firsthand is really, really powerful. So thank you to everybody for being here with us today. We will send out a recording of this call. Feel free to share with other district partners or contacts that you have that could benefit from this program or want to learn more. We invite you to do that, and just appreciate you all for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. Enjoy the rest of your day.